Hi there. Welcome, everyone, to the Wealthy LaLa Show. This is episode 155. I tell you, it's so funny. I just love how we get awarenesses on things and then, awarenesses to choose something. And then the next thing you know, something gets created where it was really important that we followed that awareness. So it's really funny because it's only been just recently, like maybe the last 10 shows or something, that I started actually calling the episodes in the actual episode. So, like, welcome to the Wealthy LaLa Show. Today is episode whatever, whatever, right? So, good thing because I'm not sure if you guys caught it, but I had one super brilliant, super quick listener as she's a girlfriend of mine, and she messaged me and says, "Hey, Laurie, I think your Friday and Monday episodes are both the same." And I'm like, "What?" No, I am adorable, and I do occasionally do things like that. So I go and listen. Sure enough, she is 100% correct. Now, luckily, what it had been was when I tie together the music and the episode, I had obviously just clicked the wrong episode. And so I had had them numbered correctly after they were complete and all blended together. But when I originally put the wrong episode in it, or the same episode as Friday, well, that ended up creating what that was. So I had to just go in and find the actual recording for Monday's show and then add the music in and then re-upload it. So you caught it and did listen or double listen. It was still a couple days ago already, but I did actually change Monday's episode to be correct. And it kind of reminds me too of my daughter-in-law. She got the hit to go and clean out her pantry. So she cleaned out, all the cans and that were really old and, some were like 4 or 5 years old or whatever, and things that she didn't feel comfortable, keeping, and among other things, right? And then no kidding, like 2 days later, my cute, adorable 2.5-year-old grandson decides he's gonna, because he's learned how to open the door and get into the pantry, he decided he would go and hide in there, and he was taking all the labels off the cans. Oh God. So the brilliance there is she obviously paid attention to the whispers of awareness that the universe gifted her with and said, "You might want to clean out the pantry because there'll be a lot less to try and figure out after your son takes the labels off of them all." Like, what a turkey, hey? Oh, that's just too funny. Our son sent us a Snapchat of our grandson Parker in the closet, and all the labels were off the cans. That's just too funny. He's just thinking he's having a good time. This paper can come off. Why not? So, anyways, what I actually really wanted to talk about today is, and first of all, just kind of going back to that, so if you get those little whispers, like really pay attention to them, really acknowledge what they create in your world. It was really interesting because I even had that created this week where I think it was Monday or Tuesday. Tuesday. I knew that my oldest son might possibly be coming over on Wednesday night. And just before knowing that, I'd got the hit. It'd be a really good time to make the hamburger soup that you usually make, Laurie. I'm like, hamburger soup? Okay. All right. Haven't had it for a while. And when we haven't had that particular meal for a while, it's good, right? And and then I'm like, hey, well, my oldest son, Brett, is probably coming over tomorrow night. Well, he really likes the hamburger soup I make. That's awesome. So, anyways, Tuesday night, I prepare the hamburger soup. And then Wednesday, and I wanted to pre-prepare it because I knew I was going to be in the city most of the day on Wednesday. So I get into the city and I'm talking with my hubby. My hubby says, "Oh, I'm going to go visit my friend. Heard he hasn't been feeling well." Well, his friend is single. He's a fella in his 70s. And he owns a piece of land attached onto ours where we farm. And I said to him, "You know what? Why don't you take him some hamburger soup?" And my hubby was kind of like, "Well, that's kind of weird." And I said, "Well, don't say it's from you. Say it's from me. Tell him I'm sending him some hamburger soup." So sent him some hamburger soup. And my hubby told me later, he was like, he was so grateful for like something homemade like that. And then, oh, how did it go? Yeah, so then this morning, I, uh, my sister, or so my daughter-in-law, she ended up having surgery yesterday. And one of my reasons for being in the city almost the whole day was partly because number one, we were getting some work done on our car. Number two, I was going to be taking her home or possibly taking her home from the city after having surgery. And she lives out where we like near where we do. So it was like, okay, well, I'll just wait it out. Well, so anyways, blah. Okay, that was irrelevant other than she had surgery. So anyways, I wake up this morning wondering how she's done, throughout the night on her own. And I text her and I'm like, "Hey, would you like some hamburger soup?" And she said, "Oh, I'd love some hamburger soup." She had bought herself some canned things with labels. And so took her some hamburger soup this morning. And then our son, who was going to come over last night, and then due to just, a calamity of things, he's actually coming tomorrow. So we're going to actually have the rest of the hamburger soup tomorrow. So it was funny because, it was just really fun how I get the awareness to make a soup. And then there's all these places to contribute it to. Because I'm the type of person that generally when I cook, I make too much. And with it just being my hubby and I now, there's not very often that him and I can eat a whole big crock pot of soup. And although I do freeze it, and that does work well too. But it was really fun to be able to just gift it in a different way and be a contribution to people. So yeah, isn't that just fun? So and I noticed that like even tonight, my husband's not a real big person for quinoa, and I felt like having it for supper. And I thought, well, I'll make it, and I know what I'll do is I'll just make it, and then the leftovers, which I knew there'd be a fair bit, I'm going to make a salad. And we're having company come over in a couple nights. And then I got the hit to also make macaroni for my hubby, like just plain macaroni. And as I'm cooking it, I'm like, make macaroni salad? I'm like, okay, I'll make macaroni salad. So I was making like 4 different dishes for supper. And after I made the macaroni salad, I was like, well, that's a great idea. He needs something for his lunch tomorrow. So my hubby works in a truck, you know, um, can't heat things up. So macaroni salad, when you don't have it too often, is a really great lunch. So he now has something for lunch for tomorrow. So I just love that I get these little whispers, and I'm just asking the universe to show me more of that. And I wonder, because I get that I'm willing to listen more when it comes to food and cooking. I guess maybe in some way I see it as a lower risk factor than those same awarenesses that may pop when it comes to, something else like, oh, go to the city today or whatever, you know. I'll like second guess that more often. And so what's really fun is that now I'm really catching myself more with the cooking and seeing what's created with that it's like building a muscle of trusting myself. And that is one of the energetic priorities that I have for myself this year, is just to create more trust in myself, trust in the whispers of awareness, trust in my knowing, and just building on that. So like, how cool is that? And yeah, so do you guys, think about those areas where you've kind of got those little thoughts and been like, oh, that's really weird. That's kind of interesting. And then you choose it, whether it's like me with cooking or going somewhere, or, gee, I should go to this store, or maybe I should, just whatever. And then just trust that, and then see what's created with it. It could be that you just meet really, someone fun, like, who knows? You just trust, just play with it. And actually yesterday, I was taking back a few clothes that I had ordered online, and it was really interesting because when I was in the store, I was returning the items, and I thought I was going to just replace this one lilac colored sweater, like those cardigans you put over you, except it's like one of the thinner ones. And it was a lilac color, and I don't have one like that. And this one that I had purchased online was actually too big. Like when I tried it on, it just felt too tent like just not flattering. So I took it to the store and had the girl there have her second opinion, because when I asked my husband, it was so funny. He's like, "Oh no, it looks fine." And I'm thinking, I don't know. I think I better get a second woman's opinion. So it's not his strong point. Oh, that's so funny. So anyways, I go into the store and the woman's like, "Yeah, I do," or young lady, I should say, because she's probably 20 years younger than me, maybe more. And she's like, "Yeah, I think so too." So as I was trying them on, they actually had this gorgeous purple. They had this sort of a medium blue in the same kind of sweater. And then they had this like white, just off white color. And when I put the blue one on, my body was like, "Oh, this one." And I was like, "Really? Do you want the blue one? You don't want to get the lilac one again?" Because there was actually a couple of other stores that actually did have that particular sweater in the lilac color, and I could have just gone and got them. Um, and yet, what was really interesting is I would ask, like, will this create greater to, have this sweater, to have this one? And purple is my favorite freaking color. And my body was like, "No, I don't want the purple one." So what's really cool is that the universe, our bodies, they have an awareness of the future that we don't cognitively have an awareness of. So um, when I put on the blue one, every time I would put the blue one on, I did actually end up going down to a small and buying a small one. I had originally bought a large in the lilac. I was surprised that I actually got a small because I don't typically wear smalls. And when I put on the small, like the way it fit, totally different. But when I put the purple one on, my body, it was like I had this heavy feeling. When I put the blue one on, it was really light. And when we slow ourselves down for this kind of information, it is really, really, really a contribution. Um, so this energy thing, maybe still really be woo-woo in your world, but just be willing to play with it. Another thing that was really interesting was that I started listening to Mel Robbins. Um, she's done the book, The 5 Second Rule. Well, she's just released a new audiobook. I don't even remember what it's called right now. And Take Control of Your Life, I think it's called. Anyways, she interviews some people on it, and I started listening to it yesterday. And as she was going through it, because she offers a free workbook with this audio book, you can actually go and download it anyways, whether you buy the book or not. And she tells you in there that she says, really, you guys, one of the things I'd love to recommend for you is to meditate. And I know, you're going to say, "I don't have time to meditate." And she says, if you don't have time to meditate, you're the person who very likely the most requires it. And I always thought this was really cool because I remember I was a part of a group at one point where it was like there was so much push, like go, push, sell. Not necessarily sell, but, contribute and do more. And you got to have 20, 30, 40 things going on at once. And you should be practicing this and you should have a business. And like there was all these sort of underlying things with like that. But the energy was a push energy. And when I didn't have a sense of myself, I was like, okay, I'll do this. And I had this whisper in my world that kept telling me, "You have to slow down, Laurie. You need to hear yourself." And that's what I heard Mel Robbins say yesterday, is that what meditation does, and I've discovered this since I started meditating pretty much daily since September, is that it has given me a space where I hear myself. So I've slowed myself down enough to hear myself. Now, I hear myself then with the good, the bad, and the ugly. I hear the things I want more. I hear the things I'm not choosing more. I hear the things I need to ask for more. There's so much more clarity in all of this. And if you choose whatever it is that works for you, that allows you to slow down, and meditation is one of them, you can allow yourself to hear the whispers even more from the universe. And I just want to sort of like end this show on saying that, you know, these aren't things that have to be just once a month that we hear these whispers. This can be every day, all day, that we get these magical whispers that are guiding us to the life we actually desire and have asked for. So, just on that note, find what works for you if you want to. Play with it, and definitely acknowledge, like, when you notice those whispers show up for you and you follow them and you see what's created with it, thank the universe and thank yourself for the contribution that that was. And that's like asking for more. So let it be fun, let it be playful. Thanks again for listening, and you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Bye.